Mike Smith, Director of Motorsport and Commercial Operations at Motorsport Australia. Thanks for speaking with the Inside Line.
Thanks for having me, Stewart. Good to be here.
Big news for Motorsport Australia last week in that the joining forces with the Ferrari Driver Academy to find top talent in the Asia Pacific region. Can you tell me about that collaboration and how it all came about?
Yeah, thanks, Stewart. I mean, it's exciting news, as you said, for not only Australian drivers, but also drivers within the Asia Pacific region. We've had an existing relationship with Ferrari and in particular some of their senior sporting staff for many years, and they're familiar with some of our driver programs and driver programs that we've run with and around the FIA and even a Formula 4 platform that we ran for a few years. And it started with some discussions, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we've had a commitment from the New South Wales government to build a centre of excellence at Sydney Motorsport Park. And we were explaining our concept to them, and certainly Ferrari as a sporting organisation are looking to increase their footprint and talent ID programs, and they were very keen to partner with us in identifying top talent within the region. So that's where it all started for us, to be honest.
In terms of the actual deal, how long did that take to come about? And how in terms of finalising that deal?
Look, it was probably prolonged a little bit given the current circumstances. We started discussions with them late last year, and we've had, ongoing discussions since then. Having said that, I mean, we reached in principle agreement with them, I think, in December last year. And then it was really just a matter of us working through the finer detail. We executed some contracts which have now been done. But to be honest, it wasn't a fierce negotiation at all. It was an agreement to work with each other. It was a very, very quick and easy discussion.
As you said, the partnership will be based at the new Sydney Motorsport Park Centre of Excellence. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And it's due to be completed in a few months, from what I understand.
Oh, look, I think it'll be a bit longer than a few months. The funding commitment from the New South Wales government has happened, and we're now going through the final planning stages and designs of the centre itself. We anticipate that the facility will be finished in 2021. Notwithstanding that, this program will commence prior to that, and we'll certainly, depending on where we end up with this whole COVID-19 situation, but we will certainly look at running initial programs either late in 2020 or early 2021. The facility itself is very much proposed to be a motorsport centre of excellence, so focusing not only on elite driver talent, but also on engineers, officials, and becoming a centre for the Asia Pacific hub. I mean, it's the first real centre of excellence in this region. There's a couple around the world, and I know of one in France in particular. But we really want to make sure that talent in this region, whether they're engineers or mechanics or officials or drivers, have the very best opportunity to get the best training and find themselves in the peak of motorsport, whether that's our own Supercars Championship or Formula 1 or anything else that any other series around the world that might take their fancy.
Tell me about the Formula 4 cars they'll use. It's from the defunct Australian series, from what I understand. And how do they compare to the European counterparts that are used in the European series?
Yeah, so they're the existing generation of Formula 4 cars. There's a new Formula 4 car that's due to be introduced next year. But we'll use the existing generation of Formula 4 cars, at least for the time being. There'll be opportunities for those drivers to obviously have some testing before the academy itself, and the academy itself will be done over a number of camps. It won't be just one particular camp, and there's a selection process that underpins that, which would see the winner go, or winners perhaps go over to Italy as part of a shootout to get into the Ferrari Driver Academy itself. But going, they're obviously FIA homologated Formula 4 cars, and they'll stay in that configuration. And whether or not we transfer into the new generation of Formula 4 cars, we haven't really made that decision yet.
How much interest has been shown since the announcement?
Look, we've had a huge amount of interest. At the moment, we haven't confirm the date of our first academy. And as I said earlier, we probably look to run the first one either in late or Q4 2020, or if not, first quarter of 2021. And that will very much depend on travel restrictions being eased, obviously. But, you know, I think we've had a huge amount of interest, not only from young Australian drivers, but also drivers within the region. So we've been pretty pleased with the amount of interest it's generated, that's for sure.
Will the driver development or the assessment be limited to just on track, or will you be assessing them from a 360-degree angle?
No, and as you'd be acutely aware, Stuart, you don't become a professional racing driver by just being a good driver. You've got to be the complete package. So there's an element of fitness, and we'll concentrate on that, but also bringing in the commercial and media elements. So there'll be sections on developing their media skills, but also the commercial skills, which is just as important as being able to drive fast at the moment. So we'll make sure that drivers that come to our academy are getting the complete picture of what they need to do to take the next step in their career.
Have you decided who will be running the program in terms of the overall management of it? Have you put in place those key sort of lieutenants?
No, we haven't, Stuart. We've run these camps in the past, but what we will look to do is make sure that we're engaging the very best people in the region to run this for us, whether it's running the cars, whether it's the driver coaches, and even the fitness and nutrition people that we use. We're looking at some current partnerships with some facilities such as the New South Wales Institute of Sport and Music, tapping into their physiological coaches and so forth. So we'll very top-level organisations to make sure that we're giving people the best opportunity to learn from the very best people.
And in terms of Ferrari, how much of a close eye will they be keeping on it, and how much autonomy does Motorsport Australia have in the program?
They've got complete trust in us to deliver the camps that we need to deliver, and ultimately what their objective is out of this region. The initial academies we will run completely independently of Ferrari, and then as part of the selection process, they'll send their people out to our selection camp. But as I inferred at the beginning of this discussion, I mean, Ferrari are completely familiar with the programs that we run here, and they've put a lot of trust in us to deliver or keep delivering the product that we have done in the past. But certainly when it gets to the sharp end of the selection phase, they'll be here and keeping a close eye on things.
Will this be a template for other grassroots deals that Ferrari does? Obviously, Australia is a very sort of well-developed motorsporting nation.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of Ferrari, but I do know that they are looking to increase their talent ID footprint, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they look to expand their talent ID into other regions around the world.
Obviously, the Motorsport Australia is the FIA's national sporting authority. Will this program and commercial partnerships with Ferrari and brands like that compromise the impartiality of Motorsport Australia at all?
No, I would argue that one of our core reasons to exist is to help driving talent get to the very top of motorsport. So, you know, I think we're a not-for-profit organisation. Our job is to promote safe, fair and socially responsible motorsport. And certainly from an Australian point of view, one of our core objectives is to ensure that we're providing a clear pathway for talent to get through to the very top. So I'd argue very much on the contrary that this is actually part of our role.
And can we expect more deals like this from Motorsport Australia?
Hard to say, Stuart. I mean, we are going to run academies. We have got a centre of excellence. We are very pleased with the partnership we've got with Ferrari, but equally we will continue to strive to provide pathways for young driving talent, engineering talent, or any other sort of talent that might be involved in the motorsport industry to get to the very top. And we'll always continue to work hard to make sure that happens.
Just generally, obviously the world is still recovering from COVID-19. We've seen, but this show covers Formula One exclusively, and in that sphere we've seen Williams potentially up for sale, McLaren shed 1,200 employees, or set to shed 1,200 employees. Can you tell me a little bit about how the virus has affected the Australian motorsport industry?
Yeah, look, like most industries, this whole situation's had a profound impact on motorsport, and I think, we're still trying to find our way through this mess and see what things are going to look like when we get to the other side. Pleasingly, we've obviously seen the recent announcement of supercars in their calendar for the remainder of the year, and that's a really promising sign, I think, for everyone in the industry. And yes, of course, it's a sport, and we all love it, and we're very passionate about it. But it's a sport that employs around 30,000 people alone in Australia, and it generates around $6 billion of direct income into the economy each year. So it's really important that we get this thing up and running again. I think there'll be changes, that's inevitable. But, you know, it's had a profound impact. We've just got to find the best way to work forward in the most positive way and ensure that we get everyone going again.
That's great, and a great way forward. Mike Smith, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Stuart.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.